If you're traveling to Europe, it's not a bad idea to read up on the laws in the different countries that you'll be traveling to. Today, I'm going to share 10 laws that you might want to know. Some are just weird, others are interesting and somewhat practical. Number one is that in countries such as Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, and Spain, you're required to have your official ID with you at all times. So if you're not from Europe, that would mean you would need to have your passport with you, and it needs to be the actual passport, not a photocopy of it or anything, your actual passport. While this is a bit of a nuisance, it can help you avoid fines if you do run into some kind of government authority that's doing a passport check. Also, they make good like money belts that you can wear under your clothes. And there's also a version that hangs around your neck that you could just like wear under your shirt. So if you don't want to have a bag with you, there are some ways around that still. Another law you don't accidentally want to break is bringing counterfeit designer goods into the country. So countries like France, Austria, Ireland, and Croatia all have fines for tourists that are caught traveling with fake designer goods. In France in particular, you can be hit with a fine of over $300,000. So it's no joke. Leave the fake shoes and fake handbags at home and make sure you have the real deal before traveling Europe. Another law to avoid breaking is feeding the birds. I'm talking in particular about St. Mark's Square in Venice. I remember when I was there were tons of pigeons everywhere. If you do happen to be caught feeding the birds, you can be fined up to $700. The reason the city's made this illegal is because it's already such a big problem and feeding them will only bring more. And with a large number of birds, you run the risk of damaging all the monuments in the area. Not to mention, a large number of pigeons can transmit diseases, so keeping things under control is important. Another surprising thing that can get you in big trouble in Europe is taking photos of airports, military buildings, and government buildings. So in countries like Spain, Hungary, and Romania, if you're caught taking photos of these types of facilities, you might be fined, or in more extreme cases, you could even be taken in to be questioned. Something else to note along these lines is in countries like France, you're not allowed to take pictures that have police in the background. And so you just want to make sure your photo is clear of those types of officials before you take a picture. While for most Americans, traveling Europe is a holiday, which means lots of swimming and being in swimwear naturally, you can get in some trouble for wearing swimwear away from designated areas like the beach. So in Hvar and Split in Croatia in particular, you can be hit with a fine if you're caught wearing your bathing suit when you're not by the ocean or by a swimming pool. So it's a good idea just to redress in normal attire before leaving wherever you're swimming. Another law you don't want to break is bringing your selfie stick somewhere that they're no longer allowed. So in recent years, a number of popular tourist attractions have started banning selfie sticks. Some of these include the Colosseum in Rome, the Palace of Versailles in France, and then the entire city of Milan in Italy. Some of the reasoning behind these bans were people were putting themselves in dangerous situations to get, the perfect angle with their selfie stick. Another reason they were banned is because a lot of these places are really crowded, and so extending a selfie stick isn't always the safest thing to do because you run the risk of accidentally hitting someone else. So just keep that in mind. If you're visiting any significant tourist destinations, it would be worth your time to research and make sure your selfie stick is allowed before trying to bring one in with you. If you planned on wearing your high heels to some historic sites in Greece, I hate to disappoint you, but you're not going to be allowed to do that at a number of them. They've actually banned high heels from some of these sites because they found that the concentrated weight on the ancient stone could actually be damaging when multiplied over, the millions of people that visit these places over the years. So you'll need to leave your high heels back in the hotel room and bring your normal walking or running shoes. Another footwear related crime to be aware of in Europe is if you're going to be driving in Spain, make sure you're not caught wearing flip-flops. Wearing flip-flops while driving in Spain is actually illegal, and if you're caught, you can be fined up to 200 euros. They believe that wearing flip-flops can actually be a safety hazard that interferes with your ability to control your car. So if you're gonna drive there, don't wear flip-flops. If you're traveling in Manchester, England, or France with a significant other, something that can get you into trouble is kissing on train platforms. Because train platforms are often busy and hectic places, they put these bans in place just to make sure that traffic flows smoothly and that there aren't a bunch of couples obstructing the platforms and keeping people from being able to navigate. So you'll want to keep the kissing to a minimum until you're safely on your train or somewhere else. When hiking in Switzerland, it's illegal to go hiking without clothes on. While this might sound like a silly law for most of us, it was becoming an issue because hiking without clothes was becoming quite popular there. The law was put in place when a family was enjoying a picnic and someone hiked by without any clothes. The family complained and one thing led to another and the law was put in place. If you're gonna go hiking, wear clothes, which honestly shouldn't be that much of an issue for most of us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up and I'll see you guys in the next one.